If I'm working with a client and we're doing maybe social media consultancy or training, or something around video or podcasting, or maybe even a writing workshop, I'll quite often begin by asking the client, what does good work look like around here? How do you know if you've done a piece of good work? It's always very interesting to have that discussion. And what I'm hoping to get out of it is some sort of benchmark, some sort of threshold, some sort of example of, this is what we're aiming for. And then what I always say to the client is, really, when you come across this good work, you should have a culture in this workplace where good work is celebrated. What's really important to me is that the comms team or the marketing team or whoever you are, whatever you call it, that you are able to articulate the value that you bring. I think too much of PR and comms is seen as intangible. It's not clear the value that it's bringing to the business. And so anything that I can do or that I can help you put in place where you're articulating the value of communication, I see that as a big part of my mission. And the seeds for this were sown in my early days when I was working in radio as a journalist, and I would sit in the newsroom, which was down the stairs, and the sales team were immediately above us. And there was a particular head of sales who achieved amazing results, went on to run the whole company for a while. And every time the sales team signed a new client, they got a new order, they generated money, they sounded a klaxon. And I would go through my working day and every so often I would hear this klaxon going off. And I thought, well, why are they doing that? And I had some conversations with the sales team. I always got on very well with them. And two reasons. Number one was to keep each other motivated during the tough times. But number two was to send a signal to the entire rest of the business. Look what we're doing for you. And I carried that with me and I thought, I want to instill that same ethos into communications professionals. Now, I'm not suggesting that you fire a klaxon every time you do a new LinkedIn post or you send out a tweet or you publish a podcast. I'm not suggesting that at all. But I would love it if you had a workplace where if somebody was in visiting and they walked through where you work, that somebody could say to them, look around you and you see up on the wall, this is what my comms team do. That best work is printed out, framed, articulated, tangible, and on the wall for everybody to see. Because it serves as a guiding light for the team and the work that you're doing today. But what it also does is it tells everybody else through the business, if they were ever in any doubt, here we have a crack team of communications professionals, look at what they do. And it just disappoints me the number of workplaces that don't have that. Now, I know it's really difficult, where you it was easy for me. We had a newsroom at the radio stations I worked. The sales team had the sales floor. It's different now, isn't it? Because it was much more fragmented and disjointed and there's people working from home. It's difficult to do. That doesn't make it any less important. Maybe even makes it more important. How are we articulating the value of our work? How are we displaying and celebrating our best work as something for us to aim for with this piece of work today, but also sending that signal to everybody else so they can be in no doubt we are a grade A team of world-class professionals and look at what we're doing for you today. That's the spirit that I want you to have in your comms team. And it amazes me that more people don't do this. The other thing that I think is a very serious issue for everybody is there's many places not celebrating their work. And what I also see is not only they're not celebrating it, they're not even recognizing it. And if you speak to most members of staff, what they'll tell you that they want sometimes more than better pay and conditions, is they just want recognition. And that's what really cuts to the heart of this. It's not about blowing our own trumpet or look at us or trying to measure the effectiveness of PR. Of course, all these things are hugely important. But what really gets me is that you've got people churning content out day after day after day, and some of them not feeling recognised. And that's a really serious problem that goes right to the heart of your company culture. And I'd love it if in 2025 you set out to try and change that. And sometimes the way you might begin by changing it is bringing in an external trainer, someone that can sit with the staff, sit with management, maybe in a friendly way, knock some heads together and say, look, here's some of the things that you might want to change, you might want to look at going forward. I'll find your best work. I'll celebrate and recognise your best work. I'll put that in place for you. And all you'll need to do is keep it going as you move forward. So if any of this chimes, share it with people that you think need to hear it. And if you're interested in working with me and Emma here at Comsteria, then you'll find us online, comsteria.co.uk. We work with businesses of all shapes and sizes across all sectors. I'd love to get to know you. Comsteria.co.uk. Thanks very much for listening.